Are men and women really different? Let's look at the evidence in a variety of areas of life. Note that these findings are generalizations and summaries that apply to most men or women, but not to all men or all women. Men and women literally see things in different ways. Men have thicker retinas and larger M cells than women. The M cells are responsible for tracking the movement of objects. Women have more P cells, which are responsible for identifying objects, as well as analyzing textures and colors. Women and men process information differently. Men use mostly the left hemisphere of the brain, while women tend to employ both hemispheres. More specifically, women tend to develop verbal capabilities on both sides of their brains. It's this design that leads to a scientific observation in which girls will commonly use more words than their male counterparts if they are asked to describe a story, person, object, feeling, or place. Men, meanwhile, tend to have their verbal ability concentrated in only the left hemisphere, as well as fewer verbal centers overall. They also have less connectivity between the regions of their brain responsible for memory, and the regions responsible for language and self-expression. All of which might help to explain a common stereotype, that women are better than men at speaking about their feelings, and are better at it anyway. We're a long way from fully understanding the difference, but so far it seems to be that women are just built more effectively for emotional communication. In a female baby's first few months of life, their eye contact will increase by over 400%, and a boy will show significantly less improvement. In a study done on 100 babies on the day of their birth, girls were found to prefer looking at a young woman's face, while boys preferred moving objects. Most babies that are born with defects and disabilities are male. One major reason for this is that females have a spare X chromosome. Essentially, this results in redundancy that protects against certain recessive defects caused by genes on the X chromosome. For example, if a male baby is born with the gene for red-green color blindness on its X chromosome, the boy will have red-green color blindness. However, a female baby needs to have the red-green color blindness gene on both of its X chromosomes, which is much less likely to occur. During puberty, the hormone vasopressin works with testosterone in males to influence a boy's perception of faces. In one study, girls who were given a dose of vasopressin were more likely to rate a neutral face as friendly, while boys rated neutral faces as unfriendly or hostile. If there's one single fact that we're a little worried to share here, this is it. Men have 10% larger noses than women. There. We said it. Look, we know that the whole which gender has the bigger nose argument has been raging for centuries, if not millennia. We know how sensitive some people are to the issue. But it's true, and science backs us up on this. The masculine predisposition to elephant-style schnozzes is tied to their larger muscle mass. It simply requires more oxygen for men to maintain muscle tissue growth and maintenance. And a bigger requirement for oxygen intake means a need for bigger nostrils. Really? The difference in nose sizes starts to become apparent at age 11 when boys develop lean muscle mass, and girls grow more fat mass. The female brain is more flexible than the male brain, and during pregnancy, women experience a major restructuring of the brain. Stress circuits are suppressed, the cortex increases in size, and the rest of the brain experiences shrinkage. No brain cells are lost in the transition, but new networks form, and pathways change until the brain returns to normal around 6 months after delivery. Women have larger frontal and temporal areas of the cortex, which are thought to influence language skills. These parts of the brain mature about 6 years earlier in girls than in boys. If in elementary school, it ever felt like the girls were running circles around the boys in the not sounding like little morons department, this might just explain why. When it comes to expressing themselves, men just drew the short end of the evolutionary stick. Women have a harder time metabolizing alcohol because they have less of a liver enzyme that breaks it down. There is a difference of 1,000 genes in male and female livers. These extra genes help men process alcohol faster, which means that they are less likely to feel the effects of drinking than women. Women are better able to detect shade variations in colors than men. Some scientists believe that sex hormone is behind the differences, as male sex hormones can change the development of the visual cortex. It's also possible that the skill was developed in the days when women were gatherers, as it would have aided their search for food. More men than women suffer from neurological disorders like dyslexia and autism. Studies have found that this is a matter of genetics. Male brains are more prone to genetic flaws, while women require more extreme genetic mutations to develop the same conditions. Men get a positive chemical boost from conflict and competition, while conflict elicits negative chemical reactions in women, creating fear, stress, and sadness. This ties back to nature, where the females of certain species rely on social ties for survival.